So people are fed up of these tracking mechanisms. There's surveillance and tracking at every level, and especially with Western countries. And stuff that I'm talking about is based on citizenship. Now, there are certain countries, at least one country, where if you're a citizen of that country, they keep track of you, whether you have anything to do with them, whether you don't have anything to do with them, whether you live in that country, whether you don't live in that country. If you happen to be born on their territory, they're gonna start tracking you around the world as long as you're a citizen. There's also the second thing, that's residency-based taxation. Again, this is physical tracking. If you live on that territory, then they're going to start tracking you. You can't escape that, right? So where you physically spend time also has become problematic for a lot of people. This is the physical side of things, right? Then there is the whole financial side of things, like automatic global financial account reporting, right? So mechanisms like CRS, Common Reporting Standard, where certain countries, almost all countries, have signed up for CRS. The moment you open up a bank account, that information can be private. Yes, it's your money, it's your private funds, you have not done anything legal, but all of that has to be reported back to your home country. So that's the financial tracking of an individual. There's other regimes like FATCA, FBAR, all those kind of things. And there's mandatory foreign asset and bank account disclosures. So if you have any other financial assets based on which country you're coming for, a classic example is FBAR, you got to report it and they got to report it. And then it's going to be reconciled. If there's any difference, then of course you're in deep trouble. You got to follow the law, right? You got to follow the law as far as you're connected to that country. All this is applicable. I'm just talking about what all's out there. The next one is the AML KYC, the standard stuff, self-explanatory. It's transaction monitoring. The moment you do any transactions, there's a watch on you, there's surveillance on you, beneficial owner registry. So even if it's not on your name, if you're associated or if you're a director, if you're indirectly controlling something, then you might obviously be accountable to them. And now there's mass expansion, which is the digital financial surveillance expansion, and things like CBDCs, crypto reporting frameworks like CARF, and the list doesn't stop here. It's going to continue to increase, and this gets complicated when you hold certain type of passports. Larger countries, major countries, if you have no money, they'll feed you, they'll give you free healthcare, they will give you food stamps and stuff like that. But the moment you're successful, there's no incentive. In certain cases, in some countries, the incentive drops once you start earning more. The moment you have money in your account, these things start tracking you around the world. And let's say you don't want to be part of that system, just the fact that you hold a controversial passport is enough for them to make laws that are against you in some cases. I'm not saying all countries are bad or it's not legal, or it wouldn't be fair to call all of these illegal stuff, right? This is fair. If you are in their country, if you are physically spending time there, then yes, all this is applicable. But let's say you are done and you don't want to deal with all of this. You think all of this is bullshit. I'm not saying it's bullshit. I'm just saying if you think it's bullshit, then you want to get rid of it. And there has to be some escape, some legal escape to get out of all of this. And the first step really is to get a second passport, a nationality, which is disassociated. Now, when you get a new nationality, they can ask you for a bunch of stuff, and the whole intention is to connect the dots. Even if you're getting a second citizenship, that second citizenship should be so expensive that either you can't afford it, and somehow, even if you afford it, they should ask for information, your private information, so that they can aggregate all that data. Let's say you've gotten residencies, you've gotten citizenships, they compile all of that information and they want to supply it back to your home country. So there's transparency, there's no privacy, there's transparency. And they get to know exactly how many, where, what's the amount, what's the purpose, all that kind of stuff. That's where when you're getting a new citizenship, the amount of information that they're collecting directly from you, that really matters. Or if it doesn't matter, then it should matter. If it doesn't matter, there's a problem. You got to wake up and you got to start looking at those application forms and think about what they're asking you. Now in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about a few citizenship by investment programs. Now you typically want one citizenship by investment and then you want a second citizenship by merit. The reason why merit has become so important in 2026 is because the CBI countries are targeted. They aren't safe anymore. Yes, there's a certain purpose for the CBI, and there are good CBIs, there are bad CBIs, but you get one good CBI, that's enough. The second one should be CBM. The reason why I'm saying CBM is because the process or the forms are not drafted by Western forces. These are private forms. These are more negotiable in your control, and CBMs are more discreet, right? They are more private. They are more between you and that country. So it's not about the strength of the passport. Of course, you want a couple of strong passports, or at least one strong passport. But if your home country passport is strong, then your CBM, the whole objective of getting a CBM is that it's more private. I'm going to touch upon the CBM topic and a few ones that are available. But first, let me talk about the CBIs that you are looking at adding. So your plan B could be a CBI and a good residency. Your plan C could be a CBM and maybe a poor residency. So that way you're creating multiple layers. That's your home country right on top. You could have a few good residencies in your home country. So plan A passport, and then you have two residencies right here. So that's kind of the first layer. The second layer, one step below, if shit hits the fan and you wanted to switch your plans, you wanted to switch over to a plan B, then you want a CBI and a second residency that's easy to get on that CBI, non-aligned to your CBA. You're legally doing this, right? That's the second layer. The third layer could be a CBM, as I said, one CBM, and a plan C residency when things are really bad. Maybe your plan C could be more effective, so that has a definite spot in your portfolio. Now, let me quickly touch upon the different CBIs, the citizenship by investment programs out there. What's out there? There's all those Caribbean ones. Now, the amount of information that some of those Caribbean programs collect, I'm not a big fan of it. I think it doesn't really solve a lot of use cases. If you're from a third world country, which has a very poor passport, you just aren't able to travel, then yes, the Caribbean CBI may be a good option, good solution, although now they're attacking the EU visa-free. Now, if it loses the visa-free, especially for CBI citizens, then those passports become really useless. You're just wasting your money at that point. But let's say you're not in that situation, right? You are genuinely looking to add a plan B and you have a strong home country passport, and the reason for adding a second citizenship is not the travel mobility, it's not to get a strong passport, because the visa free eventually doesn't come in handy. When you're getting a residence, you anyways have to apply and collect a card, and that's where your passport strength would not matter. The fact that you have a clean passport would matter more. What are the options? So there are the 5 Caribbean options: Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and Dominica. Out of these 5, I would say Grenada is the best one, although at least in 2026, I don't see the point of getting any of these options if privacy is your main concern. The second one on this list is Turkey. Third one is Vanuatu, followed by Nauru, and the latest one is Sao Tome and Principe. These are the only real contenders. Anything else, I would not take any other program seriously. Out of all these programs, I particularly don't like Turkey because Turkey is chaotic. Yes, the idea, the premise of Turkey is good. Yes, you're investing in a property, 400K, not a bad deal. You buy the property anyways, you're going to have a home. The biggest problem with that approach is the property is not going to be a good property. It's going to be an overpriced property. At this point, you're really looking at losing a couple of 200K at least, I would say, if you do a bad deal. If you do the best of the best deals, then maybe you're going to lose out 100K. So that's going to be the cost. Plus, there's other fees, the VAT, the lawyer fees, and a bunch of other things that you're looking at, the transfer fees and all those things. So looking at a citizenship of 150K anyways. Now, that's not the problem. It's still a good deal up until this point. The problem really starts once you apply for the citizenship, the bureaucracy has gone crazy. And because that citizenship, that property is not directly attached to your citizenship. Now, if you look at some of the other programs, right, for example, with Egypt, you get the soft approval and then you invest in the property and then you get the passport. But in Turkey, it's not like that. The property, it's its own thing. You may or may not get the citizenship. They are not connected. They're not coupled together. That's why I feel the Turkish program is not really good. Even the bank deposit option in Turkey, which is 500K in a bank, considering the way the lira is tanking, I don't see any sense in that program. Maybe you would have lost all your money with the Turkey bank deposit options. It's not a good program. What does Turkey passport offer anyways? It does not provide any Schengen access. It does have some miscellaneous access, but it's not worth it in my opinion for that. Taxation is high. I think it's just a crazy place to deal with. I would rather want to stay out of Turkey than in Turkey. So Turkey, in my opinion, is not a good citizenship to grab. What about Sao Tome and Nauru? Now, Nauru has come up with a good discount. It lets you add siblings. But the biggest problem with Nauru is not the pricing. Now, of course, it has lost all meaningful access. It doesn't have really much kind of going on for it. Yes, maybe the Russia access is there. It doesn't have Belarus. It doesn't have any China. It doesn't have, but basically is a poor passport at this point in time. The biggest concern, the problem with Nauru is that it's not a tax-friendly jurisdiction. It's not a habitable country for most people. Let's say 25, 50 years down the line, you may or may not have much territory left. Let's say the country goes underwater. It shouldn't. I hope it doesn't. But let's say, that kind of scenario happens. Then what do? Does your citizenship stay? Does it go? Do future generations benefit from this passport? I don't know the answer to those questions. So for that reason, it does not look attractive. The other big major reason why I don't like Nauru program is the amount of information. They've gotten it wrong. They went crazy. I don't know if they thought that this is going to hit the jackpot, is going to have millions of people applying or interested in it. They created too high. They went way overboard with the due diligence expectations. I don't see the reason why they would ask half that information on that form. And that's similar to a program like Egypt, travel history for the last 5 years. I mean, why would you even want to peep that much into someone's life? What is going on? So I don't like such programs where they're asking for too much information on those application forms, because that information is stored somewhere, that information is shared somewhere, or at least that information is available somewhere. And you got to understand how these forms work. And one of the things that we discuss with our clients before doing any CBI is we discuss all these things. Certain things work for some people and certain things don't work for certain people. So you've got to be mindful of what's going to really work for you versus not work for you. And that's where I think somewhere Nauru is way too much and asking way too much information. Sao Tome and Principe is one of the poorest passports you can add. A lot of marketers, unfortunately, market the CPLP element of a CBI passport. Now, don't forget, this is a CBI. This is not by origin. This is not a genuine merit-based application. Now, we don't know how the merit would work, but the CBI is a pay for passport scheme. A lot of Western countries look at that very differently. We don't know how Portugal is going to react to this. If you're thinking of getting this for Brazil or Portugal, you got to think twice. So that shouldn't be your primary goal of getting this passport. In terms of the visa-free, not a whole lot going on. Can you live in this country? Probably not. Is taxation favorable? Is it a territorial system? Nope. So what is the big advantage? Is respect the advantage? Nope, because it's a poor African nation. Are banks going to look at it respectfully? I personally don't think so. So is this adding any value? Overall, I don't think there's much going on here. Maybe yes, for redundancy, you could throw this in if you have too much money lying around. What is the best program? Now, what are we left with? Vanuatu. Why are so many people big fans of Vanuatu? Why do they get Vanuatu? There are a few positive things. I'm not going to say that Vanuatu is the best country, the best CBI. It has its own drawbacks. What is the biggest con of Vanuatu? It has had I wouldn't say bad, but it has had a very questionable reputation in the past. Yes, some people have got Vanuatu. They shouldn't have gotten it. So for that, it got some limelight. But so has Saint Kitts and Nevis, so has Antigua and Barbuda. So all these things have happened in the past in history. I think if you look at the application form of Vanuatu, it's perfect. It provides that sweet spot. That's the exact amount of information that one would be comfortable sharing with them. Second is it's an English-speaking country, unlike Sao Tome and Principe, which is a Portuguese-speaking country. Here, if you let's say you were to go to Vanuatu and spend some time, at least you can get by with your English. There's two developed countries nearby, Australia and New Zealand, so that has to be looked at as a positive thing. It's a zero tax country, so that would help you not only in Vanuatu, and mostly people aren't obviously going to strike their zero tax residency in Vanuatu, but let's say you do a Panama or a Dubai or you do a territorial system, then that reporting to Vanuatu is more advantageous than reporting to a draconian third country. Again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't follow the laws. You should absolutely follow the laws for your home country, but you're presenting Vanuatu as the home country. That's the only thing you're dealing with. Then there's the reporting to Vanuatu because there's the concept of taxation. So there are some heavy advantages with Vanuatu. Speed and the ease and the experience, I think, is the biggest advantage with Vanuatu. And we have a team on site. So citizenship is one aspect. There's a PR team that expedites the PR 5 days to 25 days remotely, 100% remote. You can strike the PR. There's other miscellaneous things that you can add, like address, phone line, utility bill, and all those kind of things. And we have some specials surrounding these options. If you are interested in Vanuatu or any other option, or you're looking to add residencies on top of your home country passport, or a Plan B or a Plan C passport, you can always click the link, book a call, we can have a quick chat, discuss a few options, and quickly get you started. Before I go, I wanted to touch upon the CBMs. Now, what are CBMs? Citizenship by merit or citizenship by exception? What are the options? The few known options are Albania, Georgia, Serbia. Those have citizenship by merit. Malta has a citizenship by merit. There's an African nation which has a citizenship by merit. So these are 5 or 6 countries around the world. Even UAE awards citizenship by merit, but that's for a very high level candidate who has some connections. But the other ones are more, I would say, I shouldn't call them commercialized, but yes, if you have the background and if you're willing to contribute a sensible amount, then you can strike a CBM, which can be done. It's more private. We can't talk about it as if it's a passport for sale program. That's not what it is. It got to still have some merit that you want to show, and then you want to invest in the right project. It's a more private setting, which makes it more unique. All right, I hope you like this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Which is the citizenship that you might consider for 2026 and why it helps the community, right? Please share your thoughts and reasons. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and catch you in the next one.